Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm recording in my classroom because it's the only quiet place I have access to. My apartment's a little loud and it's been a little loud for the past month. So I'm back to work, so no more recording over the nice and easy summer. It's time to record at the end of a long work day. So hopefully I have energy to do this. I'm feeling pretty good because it's a Friday. I'm recording this, I think, day of release because I just didn't have time over the week. But hopefully I'll adjust to this schedule. It's a new school schedule for me as well, since I'm teaching a new grade. But for today, I'm going to review a very special book, because it's a book that I know, and I knew at the time while reading it, it was good. I could tell that it was very good, in fact, and that a lot of care and a lot of love was put into this book. Put into this work, right? But I just did not connect to it. And that's probably one of the worst feelings you can have as a reader. You're reading something that you can tell immediately that it has a chance of being really good in the genre of fantasy, but it's just not for me. And that book, unfortunately, is going to be The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. So I'm going to review that for today. So let's get started. First, a little bit about the book, just so you can see if this book interests you at all before even getting into the review. So The Book That Wouldn't Burn is recently published. It was published earlier this year, 2023. So it's very new, and I believe it's probably going to be, shortlisted for a number of awards in the fantasy genre, for good reason. I can tell immediately. Again, like I said earlier, that it is a good book. But it wasn't for me. But this book, it's told through the point of view of two protagonists, so it's a split point of view book. So if you like split points of view, go ahead and check this out, right? So our first point of view is Lyvera, and I apologize immediately. I'm going to say the names of all, the characters, the creatures, and the cities the way I just read it immediately. I don't use audiobook really ever. So here we go. Lyvera is, at the start of the novel, a young girl who lives in the dust, as it is called. Think of the dust as a desert. It's not the most important place in terms of location or the plot for this novel, but it is important to Lyvera's character because it's where she's growing up, and it will play a role into how she's viewed by other people because of her upbringing in the desert or the dust. Lyvera lives a very peaceful life, for the most part, until one day a group of sabers, that's how I said it, it might not be right, it's Sabbers, but sabers is just how I immediately said it. And the sabers are a canine-like beast that walk on two legs. Imagine Anubis, because that's what I imagined while reading this, even though he's a jackal, they're canine, right? But she lived a peaceful life until they attacked her village, and they slaughtered her entire village except for the kids. And then she was taken prisoner. None of this is spoilers because it happens in like the first 30 pages. It's a very quick beginning, if you can't tell. While she's under capture, right, or as a prisoner, she's rescued by a group of soldiers. And these soldiers are going to eventually take her and the rest of the kids to Krath City, which is going to be the capital of, I can't even remember the name of the empire. It's been like a couple weeks since I finished this, but it's the capital city of this region, and it is very important to this region because Krath City is home to the library, and the library is really the most important part of this entire novel, right? So the library is where knowledge and information is stored for this entire region, and it makes the capital city very important. Every other city wants access to the library. Every other race and civilization wants access to this library, but Krath City is the city in charge right now. Lyvera is drawn immediately to the library, and we're going to follow her journey as she works very carefully and very diligently to one day hopefully work as a librarian, and that's going to be her entire journey. I'm not going to say much else because the rest could be a spoiler. Our second point of view is from the character known as Evar, I believe is how it says, how I said it, Evar, and he is a 20-something-year-old man, and he lives inside of the library, though a very hidden, not always connected part of the library compared to Lyvera. And in this part of the library, he lives with his siblings. They're not related by blood, but they will call each other siblings because they grew up together. And he also lives with and was raised by two mysterious beings. I have to look at my notes because I don't remember what they're called for whatever reason. They're called the soldier and the assistant. And again, they're very mysterious on purpose. I will say that much. And in this part of the library, all of their needs are pretty much taken care of. All of their supplies are taken care of. But the siblings are all trained in very specific arts, except for Evar, and that's why he kind of stands apart from his siblings. He doesn't really feel all that connected to the library. He doesn't really feel connected to his, found family. His journey really starts with his part of the library. Excuse me, by the way. His part of the library is being attacked more and more often by what is known as the escapes. And these escapes come from a part of the library known as the mechanism. I can't really get too much into all of this because it is spoiler talks. I want this to be spoiler free as much as possible. But think of the mechanism almost like the hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball Z. You enter it, you go through training in there, depending on the book that you bring in. So if you bring in a book about seafaring, right, you might learn a little bit about seafaring. So that's really all I can say. But Evar, again, he's very mysterious as himself, right? But those are our 2 points of views, Lyvera and Evar. Immediately, I want to say, with this book, one reason why I didn't really connect to it is because with a lot of books that are split point of view, if you do not enjoy one point of view, that's already 50% of the book that you're not really going to enjoy. And I think that was my biggest issue. Lyvera, I found very interesting, and I think I easily connected with her. We spend, I shouldn't say 50% of the book. I should say it's about probably 65-35 between Lyvera and Evar. Lyvera, I felt, was, she was, brought to life more than Evar. But I think that was done on purpose, right? Evar, his side of the story is supposed to be more mysterious. You're supposed to be left in the dark more so than Lyvera. But just because it's done on purpose doesn't mean I have to enjoy it. That's how I've really began to think about the books that I'm reading, even though stylistically it makes sense, and even though it again makes sense for the story and for the plot, I just didn't enjoy it. Evar was a little bit too distant for me, and again, because he makes up 40% of the story, I'm gonna struggle through 40% of the story, and that made it a really slow read. It is a longer book, so that was already on my mind for how slow this book could be, but that was immediately something that I noticed. I just could not connect to Evar. So with this review, because I didn't really necessarily connect with Evar, I'm going to focus on Lyvera for the most part. I thought she was one of the better characters that I've read this year so far, especially in the fantasy genre. We follow her. I'm a sucker, by the way, for stories that take place over the course of time, like a longer course of time. And we follow Lyvera from, I think, when she's 6 years old at the beginning of the story until she's in her mid-20s is what I want to say. And she grows tremendously throughout. And I thought that was wonderfully done. I really enjoyed that part of the whole book, just Lyvera, her entire growth. Lyvera, she eventually joins the library and she works very hard to become a librarian. It does have a schoolyard feel, much like the Will of the Many. It is a fantasy book with an academia setting. This does as well as the same setting, done a little bit better actually than the Will of the Many. Lyvera, she makes friends there, and her friends are also characters that I feel are developed pretty well for side characters. I actually do begin to care. We do spend time with them, and I do begin to as the novel progresses, as the story progresses, I do feel for the characters. So that was well done as well. Well done as well. I'm an English teacher, and oh well, words are tough sometimes. But Lyvera, her journey, it was great. All of the friends that she made was great as well. Her situation is similar to Ivar, where for her, she also has a found family with her classmates and with her, I don't want to say adoptive father. I can't remember the exact relationship, but maybe adoptive father is fine, and maybe adoptive maid, that's probably the best way to put it, someone who takes care of her. That relationship is very strange, the adoptive father and the adoptive maid, because they don't really spend a lot of time together. So Lyvera does have to rely on her friends, and I do think that was well done. Again, her relationship with her friends and her classmates was excellent, I think. I do wish that future books, do that as well. A little bit of a meta commentary for the video, I guess. I had to pause the recording for a little bit because not just a little bit, for like 10 minutes, because I heard a child scream, so I had to go and check on that. But they were just, it's at the end of the day, it's after school actually, and they were just playing on their phone, like a little app that lets them see ghosts. So I just talked with the kid for a bit, but yay, teacher jobs, right? Had to make sure a kid isn't dying, even if it's after school. You might still hear some people in the background because people are leaving the building. So I need to begin to wrap it up. But, while I'm recording this, I hope this review makes sense even just a little bit, because I feel delirious because of the long work week, and I'm hungry, and I just feel tired, but I just wanted to record something. And also, it's really tough to, I think, record a review like this, because it's a book that I just feel meh about. If I felt, if I hated it, I think it would have been easy to talk about. Just like if I loved it, it would have been pretty easy to talk about, but I just feel meh. And again, I'm running out of reasons as to why that is. It's really tough to wrap my mind around it. Again, because for the most part, it's just, if you can't enjoy 40% of the book, because I don't care about a character, it makes the rest of the book pretty difficult to enjoy as well. But one thing that I want to talk about, and this is the part of the review where I'm going to sound like a hypocrite, because I might be a hypocrite. But the last, I want to say, 10% of this novel is very fast-paced, and it's awesome. I want to say that it is awesome. So many great reveals, so many great moments that, really tie in a lot of the mysterious elements throughout the novel, because that's part of the novel's, draw, but also issue for me that, again, just wasn't given enough, I think, with some of our characters. But oh well, I'm not going to harp on that much longer. But, the ending was fantastic, and it really sets up the rest of the series. But here's where I'm a hypocrite, right? I'm kind of getting tired of that with epic novels, with fantasy novels. And I'm a fan of Sanderson. So that's something that, I'm very much a hypocrite for that. Sanderson is known for the Sanderlanche, right? Where his entire novel, it's not, I don't want to say slow. It might be slow to some people, but it might, take a while. It's like 600 pages of build-up, and then like the last 10-15% is just crazy and frantic, high-paced. And this novel does the same thing, where, it's very slow for a long time. It builds and builds and builds, and then it's just, rapid fire. But I am getting tired of that, and I don't know why it is. I've always told people that I love the fantasy genre and I love science fiction, but a lot of times my favorite books aren't from those genres. And I just feel like, for me as a reader, it can't just be about the ending, right? Just because the last 10% is really good, that doesn't mean that I can now ignore the other 90% that I struggled to get through, that I just wasn't caring about. And I think that's really tough for an author to do. Getting the readers to care about 100% of the novel. That's impossible. I know that 100%. But to get them to care about, a good majority of the book, it's difficult. That takes a lot of talent. And this book was just something that, again, it just didn't catch me. And that's really all I can say. Right. This is a strange review. Again, I think it might be my worst review in my early YouTube career, but hopefully I will get better with meh books in the future. I already know immediately I am never recording on a Friday at the end of a work week again, and I'm certainly not recording on a Friday immediately after school because I am tired. But those are my thoughts on the book that went burned by Mark Lawrence. I still think you should give it a shot because the writing is beautiful. Lyvera is an amazing character, probably top 5 so far in the year for me. And again, the ending is good. It's just the rest of the book takes a lot of dedication. And if you're willing to push through it, you might enjoy it more than me. Even while recording this video, I've been thinking. Will I give the rest of the series a try as it comes out? Again, this is book 1. And I think the answer is yes. I think I actually will give the rest of the series a try. It might actually be like an immediate read for me. It's so strange even saying that now. I didn't even think I would say that. But I think I'm going to read as soon as book 2 is out. I think I'm going to jump right into it. So maybe this isn't just a meh book. But who knows? Oh well. Strange review. But I hope you liked it. And hopefully I'll see you in 10 days. But we all know that I will record a little bit later than usual. But again, school is back, so my schedule is different. But hopefully you like this review. If you read the book, please let me know what you thought about it. And I'll see you next time. Peace.